आइए हम सुने विज्ञान की अनकही कहानियाँ। आइए हम सुने विज्ञान की अनसुनी कहानियाँ। एक नई दुनिया की आवाज़ आपकी आवाज़, विज्ञान की आवाज़ की आवाज़। सुने विज्ञान की अनसुनी कहानियाँ। एक नई दुनिया की आवाज़ आपकी आवाज़, विज्ञान की आवाज़ की आवाज़।
Almost 5 lakh Indians die each year waiting for an organ donation. While people do donate organs, the proportion of available donor organs to people in need of them is highly imbalanced. So, instead of waiting, how about we build a whole new working biological organ from scratch? I know that sounds bizarre, but that's exactly what bioprinting does. A branch of regenerative medicine that is still under development. Although bioprinting has successfully developed simple tissues like blood vessels and tubes, building complex human organs from scratch is a dream yet to be transformed. This gripping procedure involves what is called as bioink. A bioink is a printable material made of water-rich molecules called hydrogel. The bioink is then loaded with millions of necessary cells and certain chemicals to encourage the communication and reproduction of these cells. For example, if we are planning to bioprint a meniscus, which is a piece of cartilage in the knee, we might need a cell line of chondrocytes, that is, the cells that make of the meniscus tissue. These cell lines are then replicated in the lab and added to the bioink for printing. Sometimes, the cell line is acquired from the patient itself to avoid any rejection from the body. While you try and get your head around the advances of regenerative medicine, we shall as well meet the scientist of the day who specializes in bioprinting, especially in the development of a transplantable liver. DrShiny Velayudhan, Scientist E, Sri Chitra Tirunal Institute for Medical Sciences and Technology, Thiruvananthapuram. You're listening to Vigyan Ki Awaaz podcast. It's a STEM popularization initiative catalyzed and supported by the National Council for Science and Technology Communication. Produced by Media for Community Foundation, content support by Kadalose FM 90.4 Community Radio, and hosted by your Surya Kiran. DrShiny Velayudhan. A brief introduction about herself.
My name is Shiny, and I come from the northern part of Kerala, I'm from Calicut. And basically, I'm a polymer chemist cum engineer. My basic education was on polymer engineering, but my training is for biomedical researcher. So my PhD I did from Sri Chitra, and during my PhD I had an opportunity to travel to Germany because I was awarded a scholarship, DST DAD scholarship, and I continued my research there. And then after I moved to Australia for my postdoc, and over 3 years I spent there working for an industry in the university. After that I came back to this place, and now I'm a scientist here.
We just saw a glimpse of bioprinting in the beginning, and our mind is already blown. So, how about we get into more details of bioprinting and other areas of research undertaken by DrShiny Velayudhan? Let's hear it.
I work in two areas. One is, as I mentioned, is bioprinting of tissues. It is basically trying to make a functional tissue or organ. So that is it in principle. So we are focusing on creating a living liver. So what we do is that we take liver cells from the humans, mix it with a kind of hydrogel which we call it ink, and then print so that we get the architecture of the liver. So our idea is, at the moment, we use this for testing of drugs, because most of the drugs which is in the market, they are tested in animals, especially rats, and whatever data you generate from that particular animal study is then extrapolated to humans, which is not always good, because some of the drugs which gives a pass in the animal study fail in humans, and then that is why the drugs have to be called back after they hit the market. So what we try to print or create small liver structures and then use that for testing the drug, so that we get a better data that is closer to the human. And our long-term plan is to get a transplantable liver so that it would be easier for the donor purpose, because there's always a shortage of donor organs. So that is one of the areas that I work in. The second one is I work on a small device which is called a micro needle patch. Okay, so we are trying to develop this device. This has many advantages actually. One is it is a painless delivery of drugs. So people who are phobic to the needles, so it would be a boon for them. Second one, when you go for injections or things like that, you are creating a lot of plastic as well as metallic waste. So this is a kind of patch which is degradable. So the needles dissolve in your body, and the backing layer, we use a biodegradable polymer which degrades in the soil. So we can get away with all this metallic as well as the plastic waste that comes with a normal thing. Second and last thing is, like, you can use it for this micro needling is right now used for cosmetic purposes, because you puncture your skin, you irritate the skin, you are encouraging the skin to produce more and more collagen. So beyond the cosmetic stuff, it has not hit anywhere. So it's not, I don't think there's any drug loaded micro needles in the market now. So I think that this is a good area to venture upon, and it would have a wider reach, especially in a country like ours.
Now that's something spellbinding. Since we already know about your research areas, may we know the potential uses of your research for a common man or for the nation's field of science as whole?
In common man, I told it's a painless delivery, and it has many other applications, like in the home settings. If you want to use it, like now when people puncture to take blood samples and other things, if you can get it like that, it can be a good point of care device. It can be. And what I see is most of these vaccines and other things, it requires a very big cold chain, which makes the whole process cumbersome and also expensive. If you can get it in a patches like this and then go around giving it into households, then people can have access to all this medication easily. So I find a greater impact on the whole of the society with this technology.
Fascinating. Can you please share us about the past, the present, and the future possibilities of your research areas?
Before this, microneedles as of now is used only for cosmetic stuff. So it is focused on few of the population who are in the entertainment industry, not of the normal people. But in future, because this being a state-of-art technology, as of now is a bit expensive. So we are working on scalability of this technology. So this would bring down the cost of it. So I think it would be very much acceptable in the future. I find a good market for it in the future.
You're listening to Vigyan Ki Awaaz podcast, catalyzed and supported by the National Council for Science and Technology Communication, produced by Media for Community Foundation, content support by Kadalosai FM 90.4 Community Radio, and hosted by your Surya Kiran. Let's get along with the episode and get to know where India stands on the rankings of these research areas, as shared by DrShiny Velayudhan.
Globally, when I research, there's just one patch with the drug in the market, and that is for influenza virus, and it was developed I think under the Gates and Melinda Foundation. Other than that, there are nothing is available in the market. Everything is under research. Even in India, it is still under infancy and people are researching on it.
While your areas of researches themselves sound pretty futuristic, do we have any contemporaries or competitions who have moved far beyond us in the areas of research?
As of now, no competitors. I know only that one of the groups in Reddy's lab, they work on delivering vitamin D, iron, so that these are the deficiency diseases that normally the women in our country have. So the patches, if they can deliver these vitamins and vital things, so they are working on that. Other than that, I don't know any of the groups that are actively working on this other than the group here. As of now, we don't have any industrial partners. Some of the partners have, this is with regard to the microneedles, but with the first one that I said, for the bioprinted liver, we have quite a number of industries which have shown interest. We have in fact signed an NDA with industry called Viprajan in Bangalore. They are actively involved in developing of drug and testing them in animals. So they had approached us so that you can use this technology or this platform for testing their drugs. For that, we have definitely found industries, but not for microneedles. I think we have just one industry in Bangalore which also work on the liver modeling or bioprinting of liver. Other than that, but we are in par with the world because liver is a very complicated and a very sensitive organ. So people have not ventured much on that. One of the industries that worked on this was Organavo, that was in US, and we are in par with it. We have the facility which is in par with any global laboratories in the world. Globally, this Organavo is one of them. And in India, we have that company was initially called Big Innovation. I think they changed their name now. So they are not into transplanting liver. They are into the in vitro drug testing. So I don't think there's another competitor in India as well.
Interesting. Can we have a rundown on your patents, research papers, and the awards you have won?
It's a teamwork, so it's we. So we have patented this bio ink that we call to print the liver. It's a liver specific bio ink which enables us to get the liver in a architecture that is similar to that horse. So that one is a published patent, the Indian patent. And in microneedles, again, I have a published patent. And another patent which has been pending for since 2015. It's not published yet. And then we have two other patents wherein one of the challenges for this bioprinting is you have to get a huge amount of cells. So cells are very expensive. It's very difficult to source them. So we have developed a kind of bioreactor where we can multiply or we can get a huge amount of primary cells at one go. So that was another patent that we have registered. Research papers. So far in both these together, in the last 3 years, we have published, me as an author, we have published 7 papers and they have been in very good journals. One of them have been in bioprinting, which is a pioneer journal for organ printing, and other journals are also we have the impact factor from 8 and above. For the microneedles, this year in February I received an award from the Kerala state for presenting a paper. The theme of that particular session was science for social impact. So that was the theme. So I presented the paper on microneedles and I won the Best Paper Award, the Kerala State Award in 2023. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Shiny Velayudhan, for spending your time with us and letting us simmer in the futuristic medical advancements like bioprinting and microneedle patches. I'm sure the listeners learnt a new alley in the complex maze of advanced medicine. Conclusively, would you like to say anything on the Vigyan Ki Awaaz podcast as one of the STEM popularization initiative by the Department of Science and Technology?
So I think it's a very good initiative. Like recently I was in Pragati Maidan, so there was a trade fair, and many people were not aware that we are working on an area that is useful. So in here we try to develop technologies that are affordable to common man. So by airing this program, I think there would be awareness among people. They would also know that we are not just third world which is just lagging. We are in par. We are working at par with any of the best labs or best places on the world. So I think it's a very good initiative.
That was a roller coaster of an episode. We will meet again in another exciting episode with another exciting research story. You're listening to Vigyan Ki Awaaz podcast, catalyzed and supported by the National Council for Science and Technology Communication, produced by Media for Community Foundation, content support by Kadalose FM 90.4 Community Radio, and hosted by your Surya Kiran.